Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to come on here and not necessarily apologize for my hiatus because I go MIA quite a few times on this platform, but just to address as to why. As many of you know, and if you don't know, then I seriously don't know where you've been over the last few weeks. This whole Black Lives Matter movement has taken storm. It's all over the world, to be honest. There's protests in many different areas just fighting against police brutality. And I decided not to post because obviously that matter hit home for me because I'm obviously affected by police brutality. I'm a Black individual. I didn't necessarily feel the need to do makeup because makeup was not necessary. It wasn't my main priority. My main priority was being able to utilize my platform and to speak on situations that most of people are not comfortable hearing. So I took a well-needed break, but also makeup was not necessary, but also it's a stress reliever for me. So I felt like I couldn't just let my brushes collect dust, especially if it's the type of therapeutic thing for me. So I decided to pick up my makeup brushes and my camera and decided to film today. I don't know, to bring myself to do makeup right now is just so overwhelming and I'm exhausted, but I really want to. I don't want things to go back to normal. That's something I don't want because there's no way to. We can never go back to normal after this, and it's not I don't want to because there's so many things that have been out in the open, have been expressed. Finally, things that we can express, our frustrations are being heard. I would never want to go back to normal at all, but I do want to go into my own routine where I feel comfortable, finally doing makeup because I don't really. If you guys can tell how tired I am right now, when I don't know if this is a tutorial or a rant, I really don't know. But at the time when the protests just started and the president, not my president because I live in Canada, but the president, started tweeting about the military and stuff like that, I couldn't put my phone down because every single time I felt that I was gonna put my phone down and I was gonna miss information, I was gonna miss so much things. It was kind of like a battle. It's put the phone down and regain your some sanity, sleep, or take your phone and just be updated and everything. Because at the time when the protest started happening, they weren't peaceful, and I'm not saying they weren't peaceful because of the protesters. They weren't peaceful because of the police. And then when I went to bed, I woke up in the next morning and all I see is Trump tweeting when the looting starts, the shooting starts, and I was gonna bring the military, and I was just scared because it's just I was only sleeping for a bit, 4 or 5 hours, and I missed so much. So much could have happened to so many people during the time I was sleeping. I don't want to miss any more. It's just that to be informed, I don't know, I just wanted to be informed the minute it happened because I wanted to know what the heck is going on, is everybody safe? And I still want to know that now because it's not yes, did justice get served to George Floyd? Of course, and I'm very happy it is. I'm very happy he's getting justice, but this is just one story, one story that we've seen with our eyes get justice. There are so many other stories that fortunately we've been able to see because police brutality is not always filmed. It's not always going to be caught on camera. There's not always going to be a crowd, when you're pulled up by the police. So the cases that have been, recorded, some of them, majority of them, have not been given the justice that they deserve. And then the ones that we haven't seen, we don't know because we're not aware. So I feel this is just the stepping stone. This is just the first step. So I don't think the movement is over. Maybe you don't hear about it quite a bit as you did the last time, but definitely don't think it's over, and still be informed, and use your platform. I don't care if you have 100 followers. I don't care if you have 100,000 followers. Use your platform to keep people updated on events. Maybe there's a protest in your area. Make people like updated on maybe resources or like places, numbers, people that they can utilize to keep them safe. Like it's not that hard, you guys. Like, this is not a one-time thing. Like, Black Lives Matter isn't something we're gonna chant one day in the year, because we don't matter one day in the year. We matter every single day of the year, 365, 24/7. It's not that hard to comprehend. This movement will never die because, as I said before, like, they will always matter. My life shouldn't have to matter when it's over. When my life, like, why is my life appreciated when I'm gone? And I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but I'm saying I would like to be appreciated living and dead. So don't let it die, y'all. There's so many things I've wanted to talk about, and I have. Fortunately, like, I have friends who are willing to listen to me, because sometimes you just need a shoulder to lean on. But there's so many things I wanted to talk about. Like, one, I know I don't have the biggest platform. Okay, I admit that. I just hit 5K on Instagram. Little shout out there. And that took a while. It's been a goal of mine since like last year and this year. But again, like, I don't have the biggest platform. I don't have the biggest influence as a Black beauty influencer or Black content creator. I don't have that much influence. But regardless of that, I will still try to use my platform to talk about issues that I feel need to be talked about. But then there are people within the same beauty community as I am and it's not just like, it's those, I don't want to name names or specific races. A majority of the time, it's these white beauty influencers, sometimes Black, but majority white beauty influencers who put their 2 cents in something that doesn't belong there. Like, I've never been so disrespected before. Like, when I go on Instagram and the first thing I see is a beauty, like a makeup artist, a beauty influencer, whatever, like a beauty content creator, whatever you want to say, I'm just gonna say MUA, post a makeup look for like Black Lives Matter. Like, it's like written, on their mouth, their forehead, there's a black fist symbol on their, whatever, on their cheek. They're saying the last words of George Floyd on their mouth. Like, what the hell is this? And then they excuse it like, I'm using my platform to spread awareness. This is like makeup activism. What is makeup activism? What is makeup? There's no such thing as makeup activism. You took a man's dying last words and sketched it on your head, like on your face. How's that what activism? I understand that maybe you can't go to a protest. I understand that you cannot donate, but there's so many other ways that you can contribute, and you thought this was going to be okay? I don't understand. Me, myself, I'm not a big platform. I understand that, but I'm not going to use my makeup unless every like equate to every dollar, unless every comment equated to unless there's some monetary value to this. Sure, maybe, but I'm still not going to come and do that on my face. There's people doing blackface to spread awareness. It does not make sense. Don't do that. It's so insensitive. It's so rude. It's so ignorant. There's so many ways that you could help. There's so many ways that you can educate yourself, but you decided to stoop so low and do that. You do the makeup look. You tag the brand. You put the hashtag Justice for George Floyd next to, glam makeup look. Like, what message are you trying to send? That you're good at makeup, or you want to do some activism today? Because right now, you're using this man's hashtag and exploiting it to show off your makeup skills. It's not correct. And I was just disgusted that the fact that, like, one, I followed a person who actually did it, and two, that when I went on Twitter, there was just so many people doing it. And I'm not saying I was following people who were doing it, but people were noticing the influx of people who were doing that. Cut that shit out. I was applying my base. You know, like, yeah, please, like, cut it out. There's some people who say, like, what's the difference between doing this and then, like, painting a picture of George Floyd? The difference is someone painted this man to, like, you know, honor his memory. This picture can be used by his families and friends to remember him. No one is gonna post your makeup look. Like, none of his friends and his family, his close friends and his family, or even anybody with sense, is gonna post your makeup look and say, in like, oh, in memory of George Floyd, I always remember him. No one's gonna do that. No one wants to see your face and, you know, his name scribbled on your face messily as well. Like, no one wants that. Literally no one was asking you to do that, so why'd you do it? That's just something I had many words to say. Like, I had many things to say about that. Very rude. Like, okay, and again, another problem. I'm just ranting to you guys. I barely get the chance to talk unless it's like makeup. Another problem with that is that when you go out of your way to educate people and tell them why that dedicated makeup activism look is not okay, and they block you or they're defensive, I don't like that. I'm coming to you in a polite way. I could be rude, I could be petty, but I'm coming to you in a polite way to tell you why, as a black person, why your makeup activism does nothing for George Floyd, for the movement, for nobody, and you're coming to block me or you're coming to be rude about it, especially if you're white. You have not experienced racism. You will never know how it feels like, nor understand how it feels to be like prosecuted because you are black. Okay? Someone tells you nicely when they share their experience and they confess to you why, you know, they're frustrated, or why, you know, this the whole thing that you're doing is not right. Like, why are you blocking people? Listen and understand where people are coming from. It may not make sense to you, but please understand that it means a lot to me. Oh my god. Like, and educate. I don't like the word educate. There will be I will tweet what I want to tweet about my black experience, my life as a black person, and then someone will tell me, like, we'll try to come correct. We'll try to come correct, and then I will correct them. I may be petty. I really cannot tell you how I'm gonna approach you. It depends on how you approach me. And if I'm petty, then they go, you don't have to yell at me. You could simply just educate me. Ma'am, you're like 30-something. My 20-something-year-old ass is gonna educate your 30-something-year-old ass. You had 10 years up ahead of me to learn all of this. That's what I don't like. The resources were readily available for you. They were easily accessible for you to learn about these things. Google is free. I don't know how many times I have to throw that out to you. Yahoo, Bing, I don't know what type of, you know, search engine you want to use, but those are free. Those are accessible. Read a book. Netflix has all these documentaries out. Just go watch it. I'm not going to sit here and educate you because I don't have the patience. There's so many times where black people have tried to tell you about their lived experiences being black, and nobody wants to listen. So why am I going to educate you when 1,000 times before I've been ignored? Truly does not make sense. Do not ask me to educate you. Please don't. Especially at your grown age, please don't. Please don't. Because there have been times where I've been uneducated about other races. And you know what I've done? I picked up a book. I searched it on Google. You know what I did? I listened to those who were affected by whatever prejudice, whatever racism, and I've listened to them. I listened to their experience. I listened to their confessions, and I learned you should do the same. Thanks. Like, educate. I didn't know I had school teacher in my bio. I don't like that word. You should have educated yourself before you came to come speak on a situation you definitely did not know anything about. 2. I don't know what number I'm on. I don't even know why I said 2, but I just feel like there's so many other things I have to address. When I say something with confidence, so boldly, like, for example, Black Lives Matter, all capitalized, bolded, exclamation point, and you come into my mentions, my black ass mentions, and say, all lives matter. The audacity. The audacity. Like, you're very bold today. You're very brave and bold. That feeling will end in a couple of seconds. I don't know where you read in that statement of mine, in that small little sentence of mine where all I wrote was Black Lives Matter. I don't know where you read where I said all lives don't matter. I don't remember saying that or speaking that. I said one thing and you came to run your mouth and said I said another thing, which I definitely did not. I don't appreciate that, okay? Did I say all lives don't matter? All lives don't matter? No, I did not. I said Black lives. I specified which life. You know why? Because that's the life that's being threatened right now. Okay? It makes the most sense. It makes the most sense. Or I don't like how when you talk about one thing like Black lives, someone says, but what about X, Y, and Z lives? As in, like, what about other races? Like, what about, Asian lives? What about Latino? Like, of course they matter. No one said they don't. No one said they don't. But you need to understand, like, read the room. Observe it. Interpret it. Read it. Read the room. I don't understand. Go ahead and start that conversation. Nobody's holding you back from starting that conversation. But start it at a different time. It's not a competition to see who's the most oppressed, to see who experience racism the most, because I think people really need to understand if change comes towards Black lives, change will come towards other minorities, other races. Like, if change comes, it will be the start of something new for everybody who's affected by racism. I don't understand why you have to make it a competition. We're seeing on Black Lives Matter this Pride Month. But let us not forget that there are people who are Black and queer. People who are Black and part of the LGBTQ+, I believe, who are part of that community as well. There are people who are Black and queer and are allowed to talk about both struggles, because there are struggles in being Black and there's struggles in being, queer, and then there's the struggles of being Black and queer, and I feel like they should be able to talk about that. So stop silencing people. Please stop silencing people. Like, please just stop. Second, again, there are people who are Black and part of the LGBTQ+ community. So when we say Black Lives Matter, they are included. Don't forget that. Please don't forget. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but there's this page on Instagram and it's called Pull Up or Shut Up, I believe. Or maybe it's Pull Up for Change. I'm not too sure what the Instagram is. I'll probably insert it here. But it is a page and it's it's basically dedicated to all the brands, basically saying, please, like, pull up your numbers of how many Black, executive and corporate members you have on your team. Because there are so many, and I can name a few, brands who will profit off Black culture and, will give nothing to Black consumers, Black customers, or who don't have those Black people on their team as you would suspect. Like, you use so much of this Black culture, we would assume you have something on somebody on your team. I'm so disappointed, like, so upset. A percentage, and they'd be like 9%, but you only have 45 full-time members in your corporate, like in the corporate level. 4% could be like 3, or 9% could be like 4 people. That's not a lot. These percentages, like, are small. Even though it says 14, that could just be 4 to 9 people, Black people. But when it comes to, like, in terms of culture, like, you're the first one to pocket off of that. Like, crazy to me. That's crazy. Is that crazy to y'all? Because that's crazy to me. I kind of felt like without those numbers, I wouldn't have known. I would have continued to think maybe that this person was Black owned. I would have continued to allow my money to be put in a place where, you know, they could care less truly about having Black people on their team. Some people may think it doesn't matter, but it does. Think of all the Black graduates in marketing, business, I don't know, like PR, who are coming out with these degrees and, you know, I don't know, trying to find a place where they should apply to, and like half of these brands who always preach inclusivity would not hire them, not even a heartbeat. Based on those numbers, I don't think they would. And you tell me if it doesn't matter. Like, there are brands with a history of, like, TBH racism. There are several brands who've been acting up, who make statements, and then all of a sudden they're being exposed by their past, like, employees. There's so many brands who struggle with racism within the workplace making statements. It's like, this statement alone will not change what's happening in the workplace. You need to make some changes ASAP. You know, just at this point, just open your purse. That's the money talks, fam. Money talks. Okay, I don't want to see statements written. I want to see bank statements. Like, is it because you feel like it's a trend? Because everybody else, you saw your friend do it, now you feel the need to do it? Like that Blackout Tuesday. You stayed silent the whole time, but all of a sudden, Blackout Tuesday. Let's not, you know, use social media. You weren't doing that before. So, I don't get it. I feel like I said this in the beginning, but the fact that it took riots, protests, for not the fact for justice to be served, because I do believe that for justice to be served, we have to be loud, we have to make noise, we have to make sure that they know we're here. But the fact that it took protests for makeup brands to appreciate Black content creators, it's upsetting me and my homegirls. We was very upset. We saw that. We saw that. Okay? To be a Black content creator is hard because you put in the work. I'm not saying nobody else does, but you put in work. Sometimes you have to put in double the work, triple the work, just to get a percentage of recognition. And it doesn't matter what type of occupation, no matter what workplace, as a Black person, you always have to work 10 times harder just to gain a fraction of what other people gain. We've basically been begging for a crumb, like a piece of that recognition, and nothing. But the fact that it took a protest, you know, honoring Black lives, for you to go, yeah, I think I'm going to post them. I'm not saying I'm not grateful, because I am. You know, to finally get that recognition that you know you deserve is just amazing. It's just the timing of the matter that just, like, irks me. Because, like, I should be appreciated every day. That's, like, a little too much, you know? But I shouldn't be appreciated when there's, like, a rule. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just like, I want to be appreciated every day, you know? I'm not a trend. I'm not something people could hop on and hop back off, you know, whenever they like, because I have feelings. You know when the support dies down, and I don't want that support to die down. I want it to continue. I want to continue from this point on. So I can't see into the future. I can't predict things, but I'm just hoping that this support continues. Yeah, I was just kind of messed up. I want to go back and say about the whole, you know, artist shouting me out. Like, of course, I appreciate it. And most of the artists that did shout me out have been supportive of my whole makeup journey. So, just to get that extra bit of love was very, nice. Because of the people I've supported and who've supported me back. No matter what day of the year it was, you know? But it's the fact that when they did give me engagement before, like, you know, engage with my post, you know, give me love, no one minded. But it's the fact that when they do it now, people are starting to follow. It's like, are you following me because you genuinely like my work, or are you following me because everybody else is doing it? You know, they're appreciating all these black artists, and you know, they're just following it. You know, Black Lives Matter, you know, it's a trend. Like, I want to feel, I want this to be real, and I want this support to continue, which is why I'm like, I'm kind of mixed. I have mixed emotions about this whole thing, because like, I appreciate the love, don't get me wrong. I just want to know if it's real. I was on the phone, I was chatting away. Y'all, sorry. This is like a get ready with me, and I barely got ready with you. But that's basically, I probably had so much more to say. I just lost my train of thought. And I really needed this rant, this venting type of situation, because there's just so much on my mind. And whether you care for it or not, it's really up to you. But like, I really had to express myself in some way. Down below, I'll leave up the products, and as well as petitions, you know, links to petitions, donations, and other resources that can really help with this movement, and for people who still haven't received justice. I'll leave it down below. But I do hope you guys stay safe, and I hope you guys are, you know, using your platform any type of way to help, you know, uplift black voices, because we can't do this alone. So just end it at that.